हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम राम। It's slide. We'll have Jai Radha Madhav. जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरवरधारी, गिरवरधारी, जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरवरधारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन, यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन, यमुना तीरा वनचारी, यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरवरधारी, यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन, यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरवरधारी, यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन, यमुना तीरा वनचारी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Jaya Gandharvika Giridhari Gandharvika Giridhari Gaura Hari Jaya Gandharvika Giridhari Gandharvika Giridhari Gaura Hari Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Subhadra Mai Jaya Sudarshana Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Subhadra Mai Jaya Sudarshana Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Ananta De Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Ananta De Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Jaya Gauranita 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 Jaya Gauranita Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय शिला प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे
Hare Krishna. We are very, very happy to have amongst ourselves today His Grace Prabhu. Kishore Prabhu is a very close senior as well as a friend to me. I know him since the base days when he used to contact me for sending messages to the various departments, and he would very nicely follow up to that and make messages. And that time I used to think that here is a Prabhu who is giving so much attention to details. Later on, as I progressed in Bhakti, I understood that love lies in attention to details. So that's how I look up to you, Kishore Prabhu. Any seva assigned to you, Kishore Prabhu, we can understand and assume and rest assured that all the details will be taken care of. There are so many things which I have learned from you, Kishore Prabhu. One of the major things which I have learned is sensitivity in dealing with Vaishnavas and dealings with devotees. Is very sensitive. Just like Lord Chaitanya is looking all the time, how should I say, what should I say, what should I not say, so that all of this will be encouraged. Yugal Kishore Prabhu is a very, very sensitive devotee. And he takes care of all the matters. In fact, I am aware that even my seniors, and they need some help in interpersonal dealings and family matters, they don't use it. It's such a nice. All of you are progressing in bhakti, systematic, Shiksha implementation. So he's the man behind it. Under his guidance and under his planning, under his progression, thousands and thousands of people have taken up this methodical study of Srila Prabhupada's books. I don't want to even get into his material qualifications. He's a very qualified man. I can guess he's from IITs and IIMs. But the most important fact for me is that, personally speaking, he has always been there for me whenever I needed help. Even when I was working, dealing with my parents, he was there. Any tough phases, he was there. And recently, some problems came up again, he was there. So I always look up to him, feel free to call him, and he always understands. I feel very sheltered having the association of the and I'm very, very honored, very, very grateful in the core of my heart that he has accepted this invitation. And today he's going to tell us about the transcendental festival of punishment, the Dandamos, how Lord Nityananda transcendentally punished the Dandamos. They are going to step into very fast. Prabhu really likes, one more thing which I forgot to mention, Prabhu is a Prabhupada man. He is the perfect representative or the true representative of his divine grace, Desi Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. He carries Prabhupada in his heart. Wherever he goes, he plants seeds of Prabhupada. So, thank you very much for coming here. We request you and we pray that you help us to rise in love with Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naram Chaivam Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistike. Hare Krishna. Thank you. We'll be reading from Chaitanya Charitamrita. So it's an honor to be here this morning. I wish one day whatever Prabhu has said become a reality. It's a wish list. By the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and all the devotees and Guru Parampara, hope I would stand by whatever Prabhu has said. So you are able to see the step. Oh, but I will remember to see. So I'll just read this shloka. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Ante Leela, chapter 6. And the context of this is that just a couple of days ago, we celebrated Chidadahi festival. And the central figure of that festival is one of the 6 Goswamis, is Raghunath Das Goswami. And particularly this chapter is dedicated to Raghunath Das Goswami by his disciple, Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami. So I'll just read quickly this. Krupa gunair ye kugra andhakupa uddhartha bhangya Raghunath dasam nyasya swarupe vidade antarangam Sri Krishna Chaitanyam amu prapadyade. You want to try? Anybody want to try?
Kripa gunairyah Kanta Kupa Pratya Angya Raghunath Dasam Yasya Swaswarupe Vidate Antarangam Shri Krishna Chaitanyam Amum Prapatye.
Anybody would like to try? Krupa Gunairye Kugra Andhakopad
Kripa gunairyah Kanta Kupa
Uddhartha Bhangya Raghunath Dasam Nyasya Swarupe Vidade Antarangam Sri Krishna Chaitanyam Amupam Prapadde. We'll quickly go here. So now Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, oh, better we'll read first translation, word to word meaning. Krupa Gunai, by the ropes of causeless mercy.
By the ropes of causeless mercy.
A, who Graha, the contemptible family life. Andha Kupat, from the blind well. Uddhartya, having raised. Bhangya, by trick. Raghunath Dasam, Raghunath Das Goswami. Nasya, giving order over. Swarupe, to Swarup Damodar Goswami. Vidade, made. Antaha Angam, one of his personal associates. Sri Krishna Chaitanyam, unto Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Amam, unto him. Prapadde, I offer my obeisances. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki, with the ropes of his causeless mercy, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu employed a trick to deliver Raghunath Das Goswami from the blind well of contemptible family life. He made Raghunath Das Goswami one of his personal associates, placing him under the charge of Swarup Damodar Goswami. Offer my obeisances unto him. So, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, who is the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita? Krishnadas Goswami. And so at the beginning of each chapter, he would give the summary of that, or dedicated one shloka for which whom this whole chapter is actually based on. So here, in this 6th chapter of Antya Leela, this particular chapter is dedicated to Raghunath Das Goswami. And we are discussing today from Chidadahi festival, and as we said, Raghunath Das Goswami was the centralized figure of that. So this particular chapter is discussing about that. Now, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying that I am offering my obeisances to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Amum Prapadde. And why he is actually saying that he is offering his obeisances to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu employed a trick to deliver Raghunath Das Goswami from Andhakupam. Andhakupam means blind well. Blind well of what? Material life, this Bhausagar. And not only that, he pulled him from this Andhakupam, but he actually put him under the charge of Swarup Damodar Goswami, which is who is actually Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's personal associate. And to that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I offer my humble obeisances. So this is the beginning of the 6th chapter of Antya Leela. So with that, we will actually begin that how Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu delivered Raghunath Das Goswami from this Andhakupam, and we will also see that what is this Chida Dahi festival. When it comes to Chida Dahi festival, what do you understand? Chida means?
Festival in which we eat chida dahi.
Yes, it is a festival where we eat chida and dahi. And for your information and for your encouragement and inspiration, motivation, that at the end of class, we'll have a prasadam with the chida dahi festival. Are you ready for that? So, yes. So now, who all are the 6 Goswamis that we see on our altar? There are 6 Goswamis. Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Jiva Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Gopal Bhatta Goswami. So Raghunath Das Goswami is one of the 6 Goswamis who are actually placed on altar as well, and they are the direct primary disciples of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The standard that these Goswamis are set, it's very, very high. Even today's Goswamis or the derivative of the Goswamis or Swamis are nowhere close to the standard set by all these 6 Goswamis. And particularly today's what we are discussing is about Lord Raghunath Das Goswami. So these 6 Goswamis, they are eternal associates of Lord Krishna, and they descend along with Lord Krishna to participate in his mission and participate in his pastimes. In Gaur Gano Desh Dipika, which is written by Kavi Karnapur, whoever has participated in Krishna Leela is actually counterpart in Gaur Leela, or in vice versa. Those who are participating in Gaur Leela, they have a counterpart in Krishna Leela. So that means all these eternal associates, those who are participating in Chaitanya Leela, that means they have already participated in Krishna Leela. So who all are these 6 Goswamis? It is actually said in Kavi Karnapur in this Gaur Ganodesh Dipika, is that all these Goswamis are actually Manjaris. Now, when we say Manjaris, who all are Manjaris? What is Manjaris? When we say Manjaris, they are the Manjaris are the devotees of Radharani. Okay.
Assistants of 8 prime principles.
Yeah, so they are so there is Radharani. Then to support Radharani or assist Radharani, there are 8 principal Sakhis, and to support or assist those principal Sakhis, there are Manjaris. So these 6 Goswamis are none other than those Manjaris who are actually born or taking part in Chaitanya Leela. So they engage in the very highest spiritual service to assist Lord Krishna, and they come and participate in Chaitanya Leela so that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela or the holy name will be spread all over the world, and they will be able to reclaim all this conditioned soul and take back home, back to Godhead. So Gaur Ganodesh Dipika says that Raghunath Das Goswami is a combination of not 1, not 2, but 3 Manjaris. And who are those Manjaris? Rasa Manjari, Rati Manjari, and Bhanumati Manjari. Now, immediately our logical mind will think, so that means Raghunath Das Goswami has 3 souls inside him. Is that the case like this? Then, so he is the counterpart of 3 Manjaris, Rasa Manjari, Rati Manjari, and Bhanumati Manjari. So how is it possible that Raghunath Das Goswami having 1 soul and representing the 3 Manjaris? Any thought? Yes, Bhava. So Raghunath Das Goswami carrying the mood or the bhav of all these 3 Manjaris and participating in Chaitanya Leela. So they are Nitya Siddhas, eternally liberated. So they externally adopt the dress or the bhav like an ordinary person, but internally they are fixed on Krishna. They are completely dedicated fixed because they are eternally liberated soul. Have you ever seen that the Vrajavasi is actually chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra early morning 4 o'clock? Because they are on the spontaneous platform. They are a spontaneous platform, but the devotees, those who are practicing like sadhakas, like all of us, we actually dedicatedly in a regulated way chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra because we are on a sadhana platform, sadhakas. Sadhaka means regulated way. So this Nitya Siddhas, the eternally liberated souls, one of them is Raghunath Das Goswami. And Raghunath Das Goswami actually born somewhere in 1494, very close to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance. And he was born in a small village called as a Chandapur. Earlier it was called as Chandapur, but now it is called as a Krishnapur in a Hooghly, West Bengal. What we say actually. And he was actually belonged to very fabulously rich families, family of landlords. And his families were millionaire that time. Can you imagine 1400 or 1500 century having millionaire in India? And his father is a Govardhan Majumdar, and his uncle was Hiranya Majumdar, very powerful landowners. And actually they belong to the Kayastha family. So though they were actually very very fabulously rich, but they were actually commanding very great respect from their peers. So they were not ordinary personalities, Govardhan Majumdar and Hiranya Majumdar. So they were actually very highly respected people in the society, in the community. And at that time, Hussain Shah, who was actually ruling the Bengal, and knowing that this Govardhan Majumdar and Hiranya Majumdar are very, very respected families. So what he did, he actually has given some villages that he leased some villages, and especially the Saptagram district to Hiranya Majumdar and Govardhan Majumdar. So what they would do, they would collect the tax, and in turn they would actually pass on some portion of the tax that they collected to the Bengal king, which is nothing but the Hussain Shah. So the family is to collect around 20 lakhs coins, gold coins per year as a tax, and after paying the tax they had immense wealth. But why they were actually doing service under the Hussain Shah? Why they actually agreed for such a lease? Because we can see that earlier days the Vedic culture was very prominent, and such a prominent personalities in the society, they were working even under the regime of the Muslim king. What was the reason? Even if you see Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami, they were also working under the Muslim rulership. And Raghunath Das Goswami's father, which is Govardhan Majumdar and Hiranya Majumdar, they in fact agreed to work under them. What could be the reason that they worked under the Muslim regime? Any thought? Threat, especially because at that time these Muslims were threatening, and there was a threat that possibly their near one and loved ones will not have opportunity to engage in the service of Krishna. You see that the leaders of society at that time very visionary. They were not thinking about what would happen to me. Of course, we also have a history where the individuals were very self-centric. But in a general, and those who are actually following Vaishnava culture, they were always thinking what any decision they would take, they will think that how it would impact for the society, not as an individual. So their decision, their thought process were always based on the society-based, society-centric. So they were, in a way, they were appeasing this Muslim occupational government so that their dears and loved ones would be able to engage in the service of Lord Sri Krishna without any interruptions. And the other reason that they were actually engaging in the service of this government was that to increase their income through the import and export, which they would not have opportunity if they would not have done that. So it is said that with these two reasons, they were engaging in the service of Hussain Shah in Bengal. And these two brothers, they had a very quiet reputation, not only because of their power and wealth, but they were also very pious and they were very charitable. You see that Raja Rishis, we hear in Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam that all the kings were actually Raja Rishis. They were saintly kings. They were not only kings, but they were saintly kings because they were very pious and very charitable. In fact, last Sunday, when we were discussing how Bharat Maharaj actually ruled the whole kingdom, and it is said that Srila Prabhupada writes in a purport very beautifully that they were very affectionate to their praja or their citizens. So one of the characteristics that kings were actually Raja Rishis. They were very affectionate to their citizens. And the third important thing that they would engage all the citizens according to their guna and qualities, or guna and whatever the dharma that they are actually occupied. So one of the reason our Srila Prabhupada says that the earlier days, every individual was engaged in their occupational duties. There was something called as unemployment at that point of time. They were not aware the word called as unemployment. So everybody was engaged, and when they were engaged, there is no question of having any problem. So Prabhupada writes the purport that one of the way that to keep the society in a smooth way, that one must engage as a king or as a ruler all his citizens in their occupational duties. So Raghunath Das Goswami, from the boyhood, he was introduced to Vaishnavism by Balaram Acharya. Now, who is Balaram Acharya? Balaram Acharya is a disciple of Yadunandan Acharya. And who is Yadunandan Acharya? Yadunandan Acharya is a disciple of Advaita Acharya. So we know the Advaita Acharya, the Panchatattva Advaita Acharya. So Yadunandan Acharya and Balaram Acharyas were the priest of Govardhan and Hiranya Mazumdar. And so Balaram Acharya was always anxious to introduce his student to a very saintly personality. And you will see before the 6th chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita, the 3rd chapter, 2nd chapter, 3rd chapter, and 4th chapter is talking about how Haridas Thakur visited the Chandapur. And in that Chanda or Chandapur, whatever, however we pronounce that. So in that Chandapur is the place where this Hiranya Mazumdar and Govardhan Mazumdar were living. And one day, Haridas Thakur actually visited that. And Balaram Acharya took Raghunath Das Goswami as a 15 or a small child or teenager to association of Haridas Thakur. And with that, the seeds of the devotional service were seen. So we can see that if we begin our bhakti or devotional service, if you see the history, some or the other way, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we would have some association of some devotees. Guru Krishna Prasade Paye Bhakti Lata Biz. Without the mercy of Krishna and without the mercy of devotee, we cannot get actually devotional service bhakti. So though Raghunath Das Goswami from the childhood was very attracted to the devotional service, but the seeds were actually really sown when he had association of Haridas Thakur. And from there, now when you are in association of Haridas Thakur, what would happen? You would always hear about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Raghunath Das Goswami, obviously and automatically, naturally, he created a desire that he wanted to visit and meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And of course, then engage in a devotional service of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So when he was a 15-year-old, who was the 15-year-old? Raghunath Das Goswami was a 15-year-old. At that time, Raghunath Das Goswami heard that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is visiting to Shantipur. And we know that how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited Shantipur. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at that time he took a sannyasa. And when did he took a sannyasa? How old he was? When Chaitanya 24 years old. And so Raghunath Das Goswami was a 15-year-old. That means approximately Raghunath Das Goswami was younger by 9 to 10 years to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Raghunath Das Goswami heard that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is visiting Shantipur. And how did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited Shantipur? You know that it's wonderful pastimes mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after sannyasa, he wanted to visit Vrindavan. But Nityananda Mahaprabhu tricked him, and instead of visiting to Vrindavan, actually he visited to Shantipur. He came to Navadvip. And when he was thinking that now he would see Yamuna river there, and he saw actually it was a Ganges. And in fact, instead of seeing the Brajavasis, he saw Advaita Acharya, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was like surprised. How is that Advaita Acharya? You are here in Vrindavan. And then Advaita Acharya said, very famously said that, oh my Lord, wherever you are, that place become a Vrindavan. And in fact, he said that actually you have come to Navadvip Dham, but not a Vrindavan. But wherever you are, my Lord, it becomes a Vrindavan Dham. So now, Lord Chaitanya Raghunath Das Goswami, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed there for almost 10 days. And he was actually staying house of Advaita Acharya. And Advaita Acharya's disciple was Yadunandan Acharya. Yadunandan Acharya's disciple was Balaram Acharya. And Balaram Acharya was actually training Raghunath Das Goswami. So Raghunath Das Goswami had a desire that I should go and visit Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So then he asked his father, and his father said, you are 15-year-old, because both the brothers, Govardhan Majumdar and Hiranya Majumdar, they did not have any other son. They have only one son, and which is Raghunath Das Goswami. And they wanted that Raghunath Das Goswami should practice whatever their profession is that, and then in between he gets some time that he should practice devotional service. So, but they were not ready to have their son dedicated 24/7 and renounce everything and engage in the service of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, Govardhan Majumdar did not allow Raghunath Das Goswami to go and meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he pleaded, he requested, he tried multiple ways, but Govardhan Majumdar did not give any attention, or he did not give permission. Then what did Raghunath Das Goswami did? He ran away from that place and went to Shantipur and be there in the association of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at the age of 15 years old. And then he had a very wonderful pastimes. Not only that, he had a wonderful association of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because Advaita Acharya was very compassionate, very affectionate to Raghunath Das Goswami. He would actually get Mahaprasadam every time on those 10 days of, I mean, whatever the remnants of Mahaprasad of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Raghunath Das Goswami would get. So you see that Gopi Bhartur Padakamayal, Das Anu Das and Das. So if you want mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, if you try to get mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu directly, it is not possible. Sometimes people say that, oh, we'll directly worship Lord Sri Krishna. Why do we need in between? We don't need in between. We'll directly worship Krishna. But here is the example that if we want to get mercy of Lord Sri Krishna, we must get the mercy of Lord Krishna or Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in a disciplic succession, or in a parampara, or in a Das Anu Das. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu understood that Raghunath Das Goswami's mood and his hurt, and he said that now we return home now, and don't be over enthusiastic. Control yourself. Keep your divine love for Krishna within your heart. Don't express it outwardly. Don't advertise it. And very soon the time will come when Krishna will call you. He will make a way out for you. Don't allow any external show of your renunciation. Don't allow any external show of your devotion. Keep that within it, but externally you view as an ordinary person. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Raghunath Das Goswami, for those 10 days, they were actually deeply moved by those exchanges between among themselves. And after 10 days, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu moved to Jagannath Puri, and Raghunath Das Goswami returned to his home, which is Krishnapur or Chandapur. He went back, but his thought was always, how can I meet Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Because he, being in association of Balaram Acharya and having heard about Haridas Thakur, his desire for renunciation actually becoming stronger and stronger and stronger. So he wanted to leave everything. Imagine that he is the son of millionaire. He had everything in his life, but he had no interest for all these opulences. But he wanted to renounce everything and engage in the service of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So his enthusiasm for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's association was keep increasing. His father was not able to control him. Again, second time, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was visiting after 4 years later, when Raghunath Das Goswami was now 19-year-old. And at second time, how did Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visit now again Shantipur? So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the context of visiting second time to Vrindavan, so he actually visited Ramkeli, and he visited Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami. And while returning from the Ramkeli, he visited Shantipur second time. And again, Raghunath Das Goswami had a second time opportunity to visit Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So by this time now, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taken a sannyas, and he had his what you call that, his name and fame were published all over the places. So Raghunath Das Goswami's father, Govardhan Majumdar, and his uncle Hiranya Majumdar, by the time they are very much aware of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela, pastimes and sannyasa, so this time they were not much afraid. So they were little hesitant to allow Raghunath Das Goswami to visit Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So they allowed, but they were Raghunath Das Goswami was escorted by all these princely, what you call the bodyguards and all those things. And again, Raghunath Das Goswami had opportunity to visit Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And when he saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, tears of love were actually flowing from Raghunath Das Goswami's eyes. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he saw Raghunath Das Goswami, he also smiled. Seeing Raghunath Das Goswami, he was very eager to see him, and he could actually see that as if his old eternal associate, he could actually see him. So that was again Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's and Raghunath Das Goswami's exchanges, the second meeting. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu encouraged him to return home again. He wanted to renounce, but Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu second time encouraged him to go and engage in your worldly duty. When we start practicing Krishna consciousness, initially we are enthusiastic, over enthusiastic, and sometimes we may think that, oh, we will renounce everything and engage in the service of Krishna. So because if we are not matured enough, there is a possibility that we may actually show a false renunciation. Yes, sir. It is again in Shantipur. It is again Shantipur after 4 years later, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, on the context of visiting Vrindavan, he visited Ramkeli, Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami. On return, actually he came to Shantipur and visited Raghunath Das Goswami. So in Bhagavad Gita, 3rd chapter, it is said that it is called as a Phalgu Vairagya, right? If we engage in a Phalgu Vairagya, but if our mind and senses are still attached to the senses, but externally we show up renunciation, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not promote. But of course, Raghunath Das Goswami was not trying to show something externally. He was internally engaged in a devotional service of Lord Sri Krishna, because they are Nitya Jiva. They are not like conditioned Jiva like all of us. But to show an example, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu encouraged him, go and engage in your worldly duty. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the 3rd chapter Bhagavad Gita, where he says that don't show some falsely renunciation, because if your mind and senses are attached to the senses, we may externally show renunciation, but our mind and senses are still contemplating on those sense objects. So better that we engage in worldly activities and internally we focus on Krishna consciousness rather than showing externally. So this is the example that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted all of us to show. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thank you. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that instead of becoming so-called renounced, follow the instruction given by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, return home and played exactly like a pounds and shilling man. Prabhupada write the translation, pounds and shilling man. So what does it mean by pounds and shilling man? Engaging in the business resources or businessman, pounds and shilling man, rupees and paisa man. So that means externally you act exactly like what your father and mother wants, but internally you show the mood of attachment to Lord Sri Krishna. And like this, Raghunath Das Goswami comes back and very skillfully, very thoughtfully, very attentively, he started engage in his business activities. And his father, uncle, and our parents were very happy. Wow, this is what we wanted. Now our son is exactly doing what we wanted. And all these wonderful things lasted only for 2 years. And then the calamity happened on the Majumdar family. And what was the calamity or the challenges that happened on the Majumdar family? So whether we are millionaire, whether we are on pauper on the road, calamities will be always a part of life. Krishna says, Dukkhalayam Shashvatam. Whether we are richest person on the earthly planet or you are poorest person on the earthly planet, it doesn't matter. The way that we get happiness, the same way without even we invite, the difficulties or the miseries are the part of life, it would not come. So what was the calamities that came on the Majumdar family? So there was a former governor who is a Turkish governor. He was actually, he was very envious of these two brothers. And the reason that he was envious, because earlier this Turkish government was acting the middleman between the landlords and the king. But when the king directly had a lease or agreement with this Majumdar family, the middleman was removed, the middleman was ignored. So obviously, whatever that his share that he was supposed to get, his share was lost. And because of that, he was envious of these two brothers. So he wanted to take a revenge. And when he wanted to take a revenge, he also came to know that these two brothers, according to the lease and agreement, that they were getting 20 lakh rupees, 20 lakh gold coins they were getting. And according to the agreement, they were supposed to give 3/4 of gold coins to the king. That means 15 lakhs of gold coin they are supposed to give to king, and 5 lakhs of gold coin they are supposed to keep themselves. But these two brothers, they were actually giving only 12 lakhs of gold coin, and 3 lakhs of gold coin they were extra than whatever the 4,000, 5,000 they are. So totally 3 lakhs of extra gold coins they were keeping extra than what they were supposed to give to king. That did not go well with this Turkish fellow. So first of all, he was having envious of them. Second thing, now he saw that there are some kind of irregularities in the financial arrangement. And third thing, he wanted to impress this governor or the king, Muslim king, so that he would also get in eventually something that. So he informed the king that this is what the financial irregularities happening in your kingdom. And these Majumdar families are actually doing all those nonsense. So as soon as the king came to know that these financial irregularities are happening, immediately he sent his army or his soldiers to capture both the brothers, Majumdar brothers, the Govardhan Majumdar and Hiranya Majumdar. So, but on that particular day, Govardhan Majumdar was not in a town. And Hiranya Majumdar, when he came to know that the king's soldier or the army is coming, he ran away from that place. And having only the smaller, younger Raghunath Das Goswami at home, he also told Raghunath Das Goswami, come along with me, we will actually run away from this place. But Raghunath Das Goswami, having a very strong faith in Lord Sri Krishna, he actually stayed back. And as soon as he stayed back, the army or the soldier came. They asked, where is your father and where is your uncle? He said that I don't know where they are, but I am the only person now here. And immediately what did they do? They arrested, they captured Raghunath Das Goswami and took him to king. And king, now he wanted actually his parents, father and uncle, but finally they put the small boy or the teenager boy, Raghunath Das Goswami. So every day they will actually shout on him. They will scold him. Where is your father? Where is your uncle? Bring them, tell us about their whereabouts. Otherwise, we will kill you. But actually, they did not have a courage. Prabhupada writes, and in one of the shlokas, Chaitanya Charitamrita says that because Raghunath Das Goswami belongs to Kayastha family or Kayastha community. And at that time, the Kayastha community was very powerful, very influential. So if the king thought that if they take any extreme steps against the Raghunath Das Goswami, the whole Kayastha family community will go against them, and there is a threat for their kingdom. So he thought that we would not do any extreme steps, but what we will do, we would only threat Raghunath Das Goswami every day. So every day, king and his soldier will come and threaten Raghunath Das Goswami, and Raghunath Goswami was tolerating everything very patiently. One day he also thought that let me do a trick here. And the trick actually mentioned very beautiful. Raghunath Das Goswami said to king, see, my father and his brother and uncle, they are like brother to you, right? And when there are two brothers are having exchanges, sometimes what happens, some brother will take some more, some brother will take less, but that doesn't matter because brother exchanges like this. So like this, you are my father's brother. So you all are like my father and my father's brother, just like you have a son and I am like your son. So you should treat me like your son. And as soon as the king heard that, and in Chaitanya Charitamrita it is said that he was actually moved by the words of Raghunath Das Goswami, and the tears were actually started rolling. And the tears, it is said that Chaitanya Charitamrita, through his dadi, the tears actually started dripping down. And he said, okay, now you are like my son. And Raghunath Das Goswami is so expert in a diplomacy. The question may come, I'll come to that point, why this pastime is mentioned about Raghunath Das Goswami. But later, king said that, now you are like my son, Raghunath Das Goswami, that I am your dependent and you are my maintainer, and maintainer cannot actually trouble your dependent person. So immediately you should relieve me from these difficulties. And having heard that, the king realized that, oh, he is like my son, I should. So he made all arrangement, but he said that your father and uncle are doing some irregularities. No problem. Now they are like my brothers, but when they are like my brothers, they are taking extra 3 lakhs of gold coin. They can also share some gold coins to me, like brothers share to other brother. So you please make arrangement such a way that we'll have a meeting between myself, I mean the king, and your brother, your uncle, and your father, and we will have some arrangement and we'll settle the topic. And Raghunath Das Goswami, at the age of 19 or 20 years old, he had arrangement and he meditated between king and father and uncle. The issue and the matter was resolved. Now, sometimes people will think that, oh, when somebody practices bhakti, these people are not intelligent. They are Buddhu people. That's why they are actually engaging in this devotional service. Gauranga Prabhu very nicely says, one day he was in Mumbai local trains and he was distributing books. And when he was distributing the book, he actually happened to meet one person. And the person said that, what are you doing? He said, I'm distributing books. And he said, why can't you get a job? You are wasting your life. Instead of that, you better get a job. He said, I am IIT graduate, passed out. He became further bewildered. He said, IIT graduate and you're doing all this nonsense. And that person said, actually, I'm writing a book. And the book title is that, what are the people student will do to get entry in a IITs? Now I'm thinking to write a book that what are the people will do after getting out of IITs? Because Gauranga Prabhu said that not only me, even my friend who is heading a Pune temple, he's also from IIT graduation and he's also distributing the books like me. Then he said, I must now compose a book that how people or what people will do or the student will do once they are graduated from IITs. So here you can see that Raghunath Das Goswami, so expert in a diplomacy, and even his father, his uncle could not resolve that issue with the king, but at the age of 19 or 20, Raghunath Das Goswami resolved that. Sanatan Goswami, Rupa Goswami, they were very expert like Raghunath Das Goswami. Ramananda Rai was a governor of Madras. You can see that all these devotees are not an ordinary devotees from the external point of view as well. They were very expert in diplomacy. Ramananda Rai was a very expert administrator in state affairs. So Sanatan Goswami and Rupa Goswami were expert in the scriptures. They were expert. They were the prime minister at that time to the king Nawab Hussain. So you can see all these 6 Goswamis were not an ordinary personalities. So Raghunath Das Goswami one of the first who met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the unique of Raghunath Das Goswami was that he did not belong from the Brahmana family. And this again shows that whether you are from Brahmana family or non-Brahmana family, it matters. What matters is your qualities, your guna and karma, not your birth. So Raghunath Das Goswami is such a wonderful, Raghunath Das Goswami is the personification of renunciation. If you see later, Raghunath Goswami, it is said in Chaitanya Charitamrita, whatever Raghunath Das Goswami would commit, it is like the line on the stone. It is a line on the stone. He would not actually, he will follow very seriously, very ardently, whatever he commit. So after resolving this matter, so Raghunath Goswami one day, he ran away a night, in the middle of the night, he got up and he started running away so that he would meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And immediately his father came to know, his father ran and he captured Raghunath Das Goswami and brought him back again. So like this, it started happening every alternate day or very often, every night, Raghunath Das Goswami would get up in the middle of the night and he would start running towards that, and Govardhan Majumdar and Hiranya Majumdar, they will caught him and bring them back. So when his mother saw that these things are going out of control, she said, better, your son has gone mad. She was talking to her husband. Your son has gone mad. Better he actually put him under, bind him, imprison him by the shackles of the chain, so that he would not be able to move out from this place. And you know, very beautifully, Govardhan Majumdar said that, very beautiful shloka from Chaitanya Charitamrita said, even the opulence like Indra, even the wife like Apsara could not bind Raghunath Das Goswami, then what to talk about the small ordinary chains, even they can bind Raghunath Das Goswami. Because Raghunath Das Goswami had such an opulent, imagine 20 lakhs of gold coin having at that time, and he had a wife, such a beautiful wife like Apsara, even they could not even bind Raghunath Das Goswami, what to talk about the ordinary chain that could bind. So they understood that it is just a matter of time, Raghunath is along with us and he will actually go away. Raghunath Das Goswami was thinking, now coming to the very closer to our Chidadai festival, he was thinking that I attempted so many times. I attempted to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu how many times? Twice. Every day night I would go and try to escape from this place. I was actually caught. Something is missing here. So he started thinking, contemplating, and he thought that I'm trying to directly approach Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Better if I approach Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through Nityananda Mahaprabhu. So that time, Nityananda Mahaprabhu and his disciples and all his followers actually came to a place called as Panihatti. Where is the place, this Panihatti? Near Kolkata, northern 4 miles. 4 miles, it was said that. Very close to Kolkata, that place called as Panihatti. Outskirts of Kolkata. North, it is said it's a north direction. North direction. Okay. Panihatti. So Raghunath Das Goswami was thinking that I'm trying to approach Chaitanya Mahaprabhu directly. I think that is not working out. Better I approach to Nityananda Mahaprabhu. And this is very good learning for all of us, that sometimes Mayavadi people will think that we don't need Krishna, we all are Krishna, right? And there are Sahajiyas, they think that we don't need any middleman. I mean, we all are actually directly Krishna. So whether we are Mayavadis or whether we are Sahajis, both are extremes. One says that I don't any middleman and I'm directly Krishna. But we as a follower of Srila Prabhupada, we as a follower of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, definitely our mood is that Gopi Bhartur Padakamayala, Das, Das, Anu, Das. So that we can approach Krishna only when we get the mercy of Lord Nityananda Mahaprabhu. And Lord Nityananda Mahaprabhu represent the Guru Tattva. So that is where we in a temple, we always have a Srila Prabhupada as a Guru Parampara, and we always have a Krishna. Or we have a Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as a Lord Krishna and Guru as Nityananda Mahaprabhu. So as a Vaishnava follower of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in a disciplic succession, we always Guru and Krishna simultaneously. We are neither like extreme on the one side or the extreme on the other side. We always work Guru Krishna Prasade Paye Bhakti Lata Vish. By the mercy of Krishna, we get Guru, and by the mercy of Guru, we get Krishna. So Lord, see, and having heard that Lord Nityananda Mahaprabhu had come, Raghunath Das Goswami said that let me go and meet Nityananda Mahaprabhu. So Nityananda Mahaprabhu was sitting on a rock under the tree on the bank of Ganges. So now the next question was that which river is there on the bank of which river Kolkata is situated? Ganges. The answer was given already. So Nityananda Mahaprabhu was sitting on the rock under the tree on the bank of Ganges, and he was effulgent. It is said Chaitanya Charitamrita said that he was as effulgent as hundreds and thousands of rising suns, where the effulgent was coming from the hundreds and thousands of suns. The same effulgent and even bigger than that was the effulgent emanating from Nityananda Mahaprabhu. Many devotees sat on the ground sitting around Nityananda Mahaprabhu. Seeing the effulgence, Raghunath Das Goswami was astonished because he has not seen Nityananda Mahaprabhu. But he understood, he heard from Balram Acharya and Haridas Thakur about Nityananda Mahaprabhu and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Raghunath Das Goswami immediately offered his obeisances by following a danda, like completely dandavat at a distant place. And the servant of Nityananda Mahaprabhu, they spotted Raghunath Das Goswami and they told Nityananda Mahaprabhu, here is that Raghunath Das, and he's offering obeisances. And hearing this, Lord Nityananda Mahaprabhu said, you are a thief. Now you have come to see me. Come here. Today I shall punish you. That is what is called as a Danda Mahotsava. The festival that is now going to happen or happened, that is called as a Danda Mahotsava. The Lord called him, and Raghunath Das Goswami was very shy. He did not want to come in front of Nityananda Mahaprabhu. He was very happy on the back and along with the devotees, but he did not want to be in the front. And Raghunath Das Goswami was called by Nityananda Mahaprabhu, and he came. And as soon as Nityananda Mahaprabhu called Raghunath Das Goswami came, he forcefully caught him, and he said that, and he placed his lotus feet on the head of Raghunath Das Goswami. Now this is the first blessing that Nityananda Mahaprabhu gave to Raghunath Das Goswami. In the punishment, there is a blessing. So he said, Lord Nityananda Mahaprabhu by nature is very funny and merciful. Being merciful, he spoke to Raghunath Das Goswami. Dahi chida bakshana karah mora gane shuni anandate haile Raghunatha mane. He said, make a festival and feed all of my associate with the yogurt and cheap rice, which is called Chida Dahi festival. So Raghunath Das Goswami was told that now this is the punishment, and this is the transcendental punishment. Now very wonderful learning for all of us as a Bhakti Ruksha leader, as a leader of whatever the capacity, that as a father, as a mother, as a teacher, that if we have to give a punishment, here is the example that Lord Nityananda Mahaprabhu is showing, that if we have to give a punishment, what kind of punishment we should give? Now here is a punishment given to Raghunath Das Goswami. And what was the punishment? He said, you feed all the Vaishnavas with the yogurt and cheap rice. And that was the punishment. Is it a punishment? But now, what is the learning for all of us? If we as a leader, as a Bhakti Ruksha leader, or whatever the capacity, that if we have to give a punishment, what should be the principle or underlying principle while giving a punishment? Sorry? Okay. We should give a opportunity that he still engage in the service of Vaishnavas. Very good. Anything else? Very important point. One is giving services. Any other thought? Sorry?
Benefit the Vaishnava.
Benefit the Vaishnavas. Okay. Distribute books and prasadam services.
Punishment should be for the long-term benefit.
Punishment should be for the long-term benefit in a way that he is encouraged in the service of Krishna, and in the negative way, he is not deprived of the services, Krishna conscious services. So if we have to give punishment, and this is a wonderful principle that Nityananda Mahaprabhu is showing, that to how one can punish his associates or the parshads. So now, in other way, why it is punishment to Raghunath Das Goswami? Because Raghunath Das Goswami is not an ordinary person. He is a millionaire. And what Nityananda Mahaprabhu is asking us to serve with the cheap rice and curd and condensed milk. And because as a Vaishnava, millionaire Vaishnava, he would have actually made a very opulent 20-30 courses of prasadam feast and served everybody, but he was given opportunity only serve with cheap rice. And in one way, that was the punishment to Raghunath Das Goswami, but it is a transcendental punishment. And then Raghunath Das Goswami had all the means and the resources that what he had, because the son of millionaire, immediately he sent all his own men to the villages, purchase all kinds of eatables, because now what all you have to purchase? First you have to purchase cheap rice, milk, yogurt, dahi, bananas, jaggery, fruits, tamarind, camphor, ghee. So all those things you have to purchase. So today all our devotees have already purchased. You don't have to go out and purchase. They already purchased for you. And the recipe is also in progress. And very soon we'll have a chida dahi for all of us. So Raghunath Das Goswami brought cheap rice, yogurt, milk, sweetmeats, sugar, bananas, and all the eatables and placed them all around. And as soon as the festival was going to held, then what happens? All kinds of brahmanas and other gentlemen began to arrive. And so generally it happens to our Sunday feast also. So this is not new to all of us, that when it comes to prasadam time, automatically the crowd starts picking up. So similarly, this is also happened during the Pani Hatti festival, when all the brahmanas and the gentlemen, when they came to know that there is a festival there, Chidadai, so they also started coming to arrive there. Thus, there were uncountable, innumerable people around that where Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda Mahaprabhu was there. And seeing the crowd increasing, Raghunath Das Goswami arranged to get more eatables from the other villages, not only his village, from other villages also. And he also bought 400 earthen pots, so that he can store all these ingredients and soak the cheap rice with the curd and soak the cheap rice with the condensed milk. And he also obtained the 5 to 7 big, large earthen pots, and these pots actually asked brahmanas to soak the chida and the cheap rice with the curd and cheap rice with the condensed milk for the specifically made for Nityananda Mahaprabhu. So 7 large earthen pots were made for Nityananda Mahaprabhu. So in one place, huge containers. In that container, cheap rice with yogurt, and another place, cheap rice with the condensed milk. So all these things, arrangements were made. The cheap rice was soaked with the milk and the yogurt. And now Nityananda Mahaprabhu is ready. He had changed his cloth for the new one. He sat on the raised platform, and the brahmanas brought before him the 7 huge pots. Imagine Nityananda Mahaprabhu sitting on the raised platform with the new dress, sitting around him with the group of his exalted followers, disciples, brahmanas, and all other people sitting at the base of the platform. And wherever the people got the place, under the bank, on the bank, or wherever they got the place, people were sitting. And there were Chaitanya Charitamrita says there was a Ramadas, Sundaramanda, Gadadhar Das, Murari, Kamalakara, Sadasiv, many innumerable devotees were there. Now, having heard about all this festival, the scholars and the brahmanas and priests were present there. Not Nityananda Prabhu honored all of them and made them sit on the raised platform along with Nityananda Mahaprabhu. And everybody was offered two types of earthen pot. And one earthen pot was chipped rice with the condensed milk, and other earthen pot was chipped rice with the yogurt. And all the people sat in a group around the platform, and no one could count how many people were actually around there. And there are so many people that some people did not even get place to stand on the land. Where they were standing, they were actually standing in the water. So this is another wonderful learning for all of us, is that the devotees are always satisfied whatever they get it. Whether they have land or where they have water, whether we have a 20-course feast or we have a small khichdi. Because sometimes when devotee comes and when you say, Prabhu, what is the prasadam today? Oh, today is pakoda, gulab jam, rasgulla, puri, sabji, paneer. Oh, very good. And the next day when he comes and asks, Prabhu, what is there for prasadam? Today it is khichdi. So devotees are actually satisfied in whatever circumstances, that samadhan, satisfaction. And in fact, if you see the Ashtanga Yoga, one of the characteristics of the devotee, I mean the person who is following that, they are always satisfied. So devotees, by the mercy of Lord Sri Krishna, whatever we get, either smaller or bigger, whether there are difficulties in a life or whether there are some happiness or distress, devotees are always satisfied. Matra svarshastu kaunteya sitoshna sukha dukkada agama pai nitya tam titikshasva bharata. Whether we have happiness or distress, whether we have hot or summer, or hot or winter, summer or winter, whatever the situation, that the Vaishnavas, they always try to be satisfied. Why one should be always satisfied despite of the circumstances that we are in? Why we should be satisfied in the circumstances? Whatever is coming is already sanctioned by Lord Krishna. So we should say it's a mercy of Krishna. Very good. Any other thought? Why should we be satisfied? But first of all, should we be satisfied whatever comes to on our way? Yes, why we should be satisfied? Yes, bro.
An unfulfilled desire is the cause of misery.
Unfulfilled desires are the cause of miseries. Okay, very good.
So if we are not contented with what we have, we tend to always be sad and not be thinking about it.
Okay, so we'll never be satisfied. Even in that circumstances, even if we get millions of rupees, then we'll ask billions and trillions and n number of, so we'll never be satisfied. So there will be always unfulfilled desires, and which are the cause of unsteady minds. And when there is ashanti kutasva sukham, there is no possibility of having satisfaction or happiness. Any other thought?
When we are upset, right, we will try for more, right? And then we bind us further into karmic there.
This material entanglement begins with the small. You see that sometimes the threads get entangled, there is only one knot, and you try to solve that one knot, it becomes 2, 3, and it becomes exponential way. And then by the time we realize, we are completely lost. So try to fulfill material desire, one can actually get lost, and then we don't even know. It's like Chakravyuha, we entered, but we don't know how to get out of that. So it becomes very difficult. Then punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janari jatare shainam ye sansare kalu daustare krupaya pare pahi murare. Only until and unless we come to the position of taking shelter of murari, this entanglement becomes stronger and stronger. I mean, can you imagine that every thought, of course in Kali Yuga there is a concession, but every thought, every action, every word that we speak, it actually creates a reaction. And to get that reaction, one must come back again on earthly planet. Prabhupada says that even if we have a desire to eat a gulab jamun, we still have to come this earthly planet to take that gulab jamun. So we can understand that how many reactions we are creating, even every minute, every second. So how many lives we have to take to actually to suffer or enjoy those reactions. So satisfaction is very important aspect, and Vaishnavas here showing that whether I'm on the land or I'm on the water, I'm very happy along with the association of Lord Nityananda Mahaprabhu and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So devotees started having a very wonderful fun there, having cheap rice, and at that moment, by the mystic power of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared there. And when Nityananda Mahaprabhu and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared there, is that everybody could see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu there? No. Only those who are specially favored by a very divine vision, only those people could see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Others, even though Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was personally present, they could not actually see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And sometimes people say, can you show me Krishna? Right? Challenging mood, show me Krishna. When you start preaching, show me Krishna. Once I see, seeing is believing. Only when I see Krishna, I will believe that there is a presence of Krishna. If you don't show me Krishna, I don't believe Krishna. Now, to his surprise and to his astonishment, even if Krishna is present in front of him, whether he will be able to recognize the Supreme Personality of Godhead or no, that is the question or the doubt that he has. When Duryodhana saw Krishna personally present, whether he was able to recognize that he is a Supreme Lord? No. He was thinking he is some elusive person, some Mayavi person. He is not a Supreme Lord for sure. So even if Krishna is personally present there, there is a possibility, or there is a most likely that we will not able to even recognize he is a Supreme Personality of Godhead. So by asking, by challenging that, show me Krishna, is actually a futile effort, because unless and until our eyes are anointed with the love of Godhead, we will not be able to see Krishna. With the bare the material vision, we will not be able to see Krishna. In the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna is showing the universal form, Krishna bestowed Arjuna with the divine vision. Then only he was able to see that. So we, with this material vision, which are accustomed to see the material things, we cannot see Krishna, even if Krishna is personally present. So Lord Chaitanya Nityananda Mahaprabhu, he would take the morsel from each of the devotees' pot and give to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And they go all around. Some people are able to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, others are not able to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And what did Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu do? He also took the morsel from his pot and started feeding all the other Vaishnavas. So wonderful exchanges between Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Mahaprabhu and all the Vaishnavas present there. So like this whole Chidadai festival was actually going. All the devotees were happy, dancing, chanting. When all these things were going, Nityananda Mahaprabhu said, chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare. So all those devotees were said, Hari. So everybody would start chanting Hari, Krishna, and the whole environment was actually bestowed with the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and everybody was very happy enjoying the Chidadai festival. So who can actually understand the mercy of Lord Nityananda Mahaprabhu? By the mercy of Lord Nityananda Mahaprabhu, finally Raghunath Das Goswami got the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu smiled and have a glance towards Raghunath Das Goswami. And he could actually bestow his blessing and mercy. So now, how did devotees know that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was personally present? Those who were actually seeing that. The other reason Acharyas give that there was a particular kind of a fragrance which Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was wearing a garland, and that fragrance was actually spread all over the place. And with that fragrance, they could understand that the presence of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on that festival site. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Mahaprabhu, they were very happy. And then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu disappeared from the place, having bestowing the mercy to Raghunath Das Goswami and all the assembled Vaishnavas there. And finally, Raghunath Das Goswami went to Nityananda Mahaprabhu and said, now I'm a very fallen soul. I'm an unqualified soul. I'm a sinful person. I have no qualification. I'm even unqualified to even he did his petition through Raghav Pandit, and that is the place of Raghav Pandit. Panihatti is the place of Raghav Pandit. So he petitioned through Raghav Pandit to Nityananda Prabhu that I have a desire here that I want association of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I want mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I want a shelter of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But that is only possible when I get the mercy of you, Lord Nityananda Mahaprabhu. So that petition was actually given to Raghav Pandit, to Nityananda Mahaprabhu. And Nityananda Mahaprabhu was very happy, and he called Raghunath Das Goswami, and once again he put his feet on Raghunath Das Goswami and bestowed him the blessing and mercy. And he said, he actually foretold that very soon all the obstacles on your path to meet Krishna would be removed. Very soon you will actually meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Not only that you would meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would put you under a care of Swarup Damodar, and very soon you will become a very intimate, very close associate of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and you will spread the glories of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And that was actually foretold by Nityananda Mahaprabhu. And very soon Raghunath Das Goswami again made a tricks, and he left that place, went to Jagannath Puri, met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, spent 16 solid years with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri. And after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left, he actually thinking that he would live his life. He will take the blessings and Vaishnavas of all assembled Vaishnavas in Vrindavan, and he will go top of Govardhan and he'll jump from there. So that was the thought that, but he went there. Raghunath, he met Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami, and they instructed him that you had very special mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because you spent 16 years along with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now these pastimes must be spread to all other people, because once you leave, people will not know about the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So every single day, 3 to 4 hours, you actually have a Chaitanya Charitamrita or Katha of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and explain to the people about all the pastime that you heard, you experienced, you heard from Swarup Damodar, and you tell all those things. And every day, under the instruction of Raghunath, under the instruction of Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami will have a Chaitanya Leela every day, 3 to 4 hours. And in that assembly, there was a Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. And when Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami was 90 years old, he wrote that book called as Chaitanya Charitamrita. So this is how Raghunath Das Goswami played very important role in the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And finally, he actually left this world. He was such a staunch renunciation. He was the personification of renunciation, that when he went to Jagannath Puri, so initially Govardhan Majumdar would spend some money, then he would arrange a festival for all these people, and he would invite all the Vaishnavas to have a food there. Then he thought, this is not a good idea. So then he would go to one of the Dwara, Simhadara, and then he would actually stand there and he would beg for Bhiksha. And whatever the Bhiksha would come, he would actually take that. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to know that he is actually collecting the alms from there. So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very happy. And after a few weeks, again he asked, now what is Raghunath Das Goswami doing? And they said, Raghunath Das Goswami is not now seen or visible in one of the gates. Now where is he? Find out. And they came to know that whatever that actually prasadam or things, they actually thrown in a dustbin, and Raghunath Das Goswami would actually go there and he would find what is uncooked, that, and he would take that from that garbage and actually eat. So you can see the renunciation of Raghunath Das Goswami, very extreme. Even we cannot even think of. So that is how Raghunath Das Goswami. And who is that Raghunath Das Goswami? Is not the poor person that he did not have money. He is the son of millionaire. But he was living a life of a renunciation we cannot even think of, we cannot even dream of it. So that is what the Raghunath Das Goswami. So our obeisances, on such a wonderful day, we celebrated the Panihatti Chidadai festival a couple of days ago. And on that particular days, this festival was happened. To commemorate that festival, Srila Prabhupada distributed this mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Mahaprabhu all over the world. And he started this Panihatti Chidadai festival, also called as a Danda Mahotsava. Danda means punishment. The punishment was given by Nityananda Mahaprabhu to Raghunath Das Goswami by having the festival or having serving all the Vaishnavas with the pani, the chida and dahi festival. So this festival was happened around 500 years ago in Panihati. So now for all of us, what is the important one learning that we can actually take from these pastimes of Raghunath Das Goswami, that to have very strong desire of seva bhava. And Raghunath Das Goswami has, from the very, as soon as that he heard from Haridas Thakur, the seeds were actually sowed. So to have the bhava of seva, first we should have attitude of seva bhava. And once we have the attitude of seva bhava, would come the empowerment, the mercy. And once we have the empowerment, then actually one can engage in the service of Krishna. And once we have the engagement of service of Krishna, one can actually become more empowerment. And the result of engaging in the service of Krishna is more service. And once we get more service, we continue that. And that is how we can actually please Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Mahaprabhu. And the other important learning for all of us, that we cannot approach Chaitanya Mahaprabhu unless and until we go through Nityananda Mahaprabhu and who represent the Guru Tattva. So with that, we pray on this very wonderful auspicious day of Chida Dahi festival, when Raghunath Das Goswami got a punishment, a spiritual or transcendental punishment of serving Vaishnavas. So we also pray to the lotus feet of Gandharvika Giridhari Narsimhadev Bhagwan that we get opportunity and we engage in the service of Vaishnavas, and our life become a dedicated mission with the purpose and mission of service to Srila Prabhupada and service to all the Vaishnavas all over the world. With that, we will conclude the part 1, and the part 2 is very small. Today is also called as the Snana Yatra. And the Snana Yatra, what is the Snana Yatra? Who's Snana Yatra? Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani. And I know that we are also celebrating Jagannath Ratha Yatra. So this Snana Yatra happens 15 days before the actual Jagannath Yatra happens. So on this particular day, the deities of Jagannath Baladev Subhadra from the Garbhagruha brought, and it actually commemorate when Indradumna Swami, King Indradumna Swami actually installed the deities of the wooden form of Jagannath Baladev Subhadra many years ago. That day is actually commemorated by having this Snana Yatra. This is nothing but the birthday of Lord Jagannath. So in Jagannath Puri today, Snana Yatra is happening early morning. So the deities Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani are brought out from the Garbhagruha to the Snana, whatever they call as Snana something. And there are 108 pots of golden and silver with a different fragrance, water from different rivers, and very sacred waters is collected, and the Abhishekam is done. And Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani, before they come in a Hathi Vesha. You know what was the story behind they come in a Hathi Vesha? Hathi means Ganesh. So there was a time when the king of Puri, he had one guest, and the guest was very ardent follower of Ganesh Ji, Ganpati Bappa. And so there was this Snan Mahotsava on that particular day, and king asked this guest, let's go and have a darshan of Jagannath Ji. And this guest said that I will have a darshan only of my Ishta Devata, and that is a Ganesh Ji, Ganpati Bappa. I will not have anybody's darshan. Somehow king convinced him, and then this guest came to take a darshan very reluctantly. And for his surprise, and for everybody's surprise, Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra was in a lotus form, but Jagannath and Baladev appeared in a Ganesh form, so that Jagannath Ji can give darshan to his devotee through in the form of Ganesha. You can see how Lord Jagannath is so merciful. From that day, during this Snana Yatra, Jagannath Ji and Baladev Ji comes in the form of Hathi Vesha. And after that, Jagannath Ji and Baladev Ji and Subhadra get sick, transcendental sick. So they get also viral fever and transcendental viral fever. So next 14-15 days, there are all the services, all the work, puja is abandoned, and they are given herbal, transcendental herb, so that they overcome the sickness. And in between also, sometimes the color will also fade. So the color is also painted during these 14-15 days. There are different times that this color is actually painted, and it happens exactly just before the Ratha Yatra, and finally Jagannath Ji, Baladev and Subhadra Maharani ready to give darshan after 15 days, and that is the day, 16th day is the day of Ratha Yatra. So this Snana Yatra is very, very auspicious. Today Jagannath Ji, Baladev, Subhadra Maharani are getting very transcendental Abhishekam in Jagannath Puri, and very soon, and which I thought it is a surprise to all of you to give that we are also celebrating Ratha Yatra on Sunday, and Prabhu will announce that. So with these two, we will end here. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrunda ki jai. So on this particular day, we pray to Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra Maharani, and to the great Vaishnava like Raghunath Das Goswami, coming to disciplic succession, our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada, that our life become a mission of higher purpose, that we dedicate our life to the service of Krishna and Krishna's devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Any questions, comments, reflections you would like to share? You have 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Hare Krishna. So I have a question.
Yes, Prabhu.
Very nicely you have narrated this random Mahotsav pastime and Snana Yatra pastime. Especially from the pastimes of Raghunath Das Goswami. We started your lecture saying that present day song is Goswami, there are nowhere in front of Raghunath Das Goswami. So, being cellular residents in the city of Bangalore, where we are all stuck in IT work, what lessons can be derived from the life and pastimes of Raghunath Das Goswami, which will help us in our personal application, preaching application, more enrichment? How can we get inspired in our morning program, seeing the pastimes of Raghunath Das Goswami?
Hare Krishna. In Kali Yuga, by birth, we are all Shudras. There is no question of having any qualifications or qualities that we have. Srila Prabhupada was asked by a challenging person. Prabhupada would come across with sometimes a challenging person. And one journalist asked, "Are you a perfect person?" And Swamiji, that time Prabhupada were called as Swamiji. Swamiji said, "I'm not a perfect person, but I follow a perfect person, and that makes me a perfect person." So today we have no qualification, and the motivation, that inspiration that we can take from Raghunath Das Goswami is that strong, ardent desire to meet Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and follow the instruction of Nityananda Mahaprabhu and seek the blessings and mercy of Nityananda Mahaprabhu. Unless we have the very strong desire, because if there is a will, there is a way. If we don't have even a desire, you don't have even a goal, then what is the goal post? So we are just going at the speed of 140 and 160 kilometers per hour. And Srila Prabhupada said, if you ask them to stop and say where we are going, and then the driver says, passenger says that, please don't stop us, we are going very fast. But where we are going, we don't know where we are going. So that is the situation that we are. So if we have to take something one or couple of points from this pastime, is that very ardent desire, very strong desire, that service and attainment of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. And second thing, that is only possible by the mercy of his Guru and his disciples or his devotees. So to get the mercy of Nityananda Mahaprabhu, or for all of us to get mercy of Srila Prabhupada, that we should follow the instruction given by Srila Prabhupada to all of us. And Srila Prabhupada's missions, Srila Prabhupada's instruction and the mission for all of us is very simple. First, make our life Krishna consciousness and help others to make their life Krishna consciousness. So, Bharat Bhumite Haile Manushya Janma Yara Janma Sarthaka Kare Kar Para Upkar. So first make our life successful and then make others' life successful. So having ardent desire, having a spiritual instruction from spiritual master, and dedicating our life for Krishna consciousness mission, so that we make our life successful and make others' life successful. If we have that, definitely by following Srila Prabhupada's mission, he said that we are not perfect, but by following the perfect person, actually we have at least a way, we have a direction, we have a goal and mission in our life. So that will actually help us to preach, even though we may not, we have no qualification, absolutely no qualification.
A follow-up question to this. I know you personally for many years, and you are a very nice worshipper of God deities. And you have some children at home, and sometimes you joke with me saying that you're a weekend group, although I know in my heart that weekends are the time when the intensity is in our lives when we see you. Whenever I meet you on the roads also, you seem to be very happy. My question to you is, how as a Grihastha are you able to prioritize this morning program in your life? And as a Grihastha, how you are able to manage spiritual life as well as material life?
In fact, we are supposed to, again, the Prabhu's very generous, and I hope we become like this. So we are supposed to discuss today 1.2.6. Savai pumsa paro dharmo yathar bhakte adoksaje ahetuki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. And one should engage in the service of Krishna, and only by the engaging in the service of Krishna, one can become happy. In the whole Bhagavatam, the formula is given very simple. The simple formula is that one can engage, one can become happy only when one become engaged in the service of Krishna. But there are two conditions, and that two conditions are so important, so nice, that Sutta Goswami tells to the sages of Naimisharanya, and the two conditions are Ahituki and Apratihata. And that Ahituki means without any hetu. And for all of us is the purpose, the purity of our purpose. And the second thing is that consistency, which is uninterrupted. Uninterrupted is not only on the weekends that we come Saturday, Sunday, and Monday to Friday we do our thing. So sometimes devotee said, Prabhu, don't call me Monday to Friday. I wear another dress Monday to Friday, and Saturday morning I wear dhoti kurta until Sunday evening. It's Monday morning onwards till Friday evening I'm in a different avatar. So that is not what Sutta Goswami is actually saying. That Sutta Goswami says that purity of purpose, which is ahituki, and the consistency, which is apratihata. If we have these two things while engaging in the service of Krishna, definitely Krishna will be pleased and will be very happy. I just wanted to tell one very simple example from the material things, that how if we have a purpose in our life actually become a mission. If we don't have a purpose in a life, it has nothing. You see that any great personality, whether in the material life or the spiritual life, they have a mission, they have a purpose for their life. If we don't have a purpose, our life is just waste. There was a one, probably would have heard this story. It came in the United States, I don't know, 70s or 80s or something like that. There was one pilot, and that pilot had a mission in his life that whenever always he would fly his passenger, he would have a mission, that purpose, that I will take all these passenger from place A to place B very safely, so that they reach their destination without any mishap, without any accident. So every time when he actually start his journey or his duty or service, he would actually pray that how can I take these people from place A to place B very safe and without any problem. And he would meditate on that. And you know that when we have a purpose and we meditate, actually things will appear that way. So one day what happened, because these aircrafts, when they go, there is always a challenge. Even if a bird hit to the engine, then actually the plane will actually crash. So when earlier, when I was in another organization, so we should do call as a bird crash analysis. So the bird is hitting the plane engine, and then we do that analysis. So that time the bird actually hit and the plane was about to crash, and immediately he had a connections to the control room. And by the time that he would actually get back the reaction or the response or the next course of action, he had some stipulated time. And he was thinking, because his mission and purpose was that how can I make this all the passengers safe, not only on that day but even other days as well. So he was thinking that now how can I do that? Dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayantite. If we have a purpose, Krishna gives a intelligence, and with that intelligence actually we take a steps. Now if he was thinking that if I wait for the instruction from the control room, by the time I'm sure that this plane will crash and all the people on the board will actually lose their life. You know what he did? He did not even wait for the message or the instruction coming from the control room, and he took his own decision and he actually landed the plane in the Hudson River. And when he actually took that, and within a fraction of a second, all the passengers were saved, and then the whole passengers were actually, I mean, the missions were successful, and overnight, this pilot became the hero of United States of America. And later, they had formed a committee to have investigation. Had he waited for the instruction coming from the control room, and the committee report was that had he waited for that, definitely the plane would have crashed and all the people on the board would have actually lost their life. So here I just wanted to bring the point here that even an ordinary material service, if we have a mission in our life, purpose in a life, that I wanted to do something good for the people, and for all follower of Srila Prabhupada, our purpose and mission is very transcendental. That how can I take these people, or how can I spread the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? How can I spread the message of Srila Prabhupada? And how can I bring all these unfortunate, or how can I become a transparent medium between Srila Prabhupada and an unfortunate soul? If we have this life with the purposeful, there may be ups and downs. Life can be ups and downs, but definitely when there is a purpose, there is a will, there is a way, and definitely we will be actually guided. And dadami buddhi yogam tam ena mam upayantite. So Krishna will definitely give us a direction, guidance, which will actually help us to go through wonderful things, and we become an instrument and contribute to the society in a very wonderful way, bigger way.
Thank you so much for this wonderful introspective answer. Last question is for me, because you're always merciful to me and give me time. You go out of your way to give me time. So my question to you is, I like asking this question to everybody. What is that one single activity or one single task which you did in your life, which made you very committed and serious in Krishna consciousness?
One thing which is very important, which really inspires and motivates, is Srila Prabhupada books. When we read Srila Prabhupada books, and it actually helps us. And maybe I'll tell my story, one example which I tell every time. Before coming to Krishna consciousness and coming to Srila Prabhupada books, I did not have other habits, but one habit which I had was taking a lot of tea, chai. In Maharashtra, chai is like amrut, nectar. So as soon as some visitor comes, we offer chai. If you don't give chai, like you are offending the great personalities. So chai is like a nectar. Without chai, you cannot live. So I used to take a lot of teas. And probably you would have not even imagined that at least 15 to 20 cups per day, before going to the office, during lunch, after lunch, anytime you give. And my mother was also taking, so together we used to take, so she would say, chalo beta, we'll take. I said, okay, Amma will take tea, coffee, or tea, no coffee, tea. And then when I came to Srila Prabhupada books, and came across to Prabhupada books that chai is not a good thing. So, oh my God, that was a shock for shock of life. I was thinking that chai, what is wrong in chai? Daru or wine or things, intoxication may be wrong, but chai is a nectar actually. So how can chai be wrong? Tea can be wrong. And then I said, okay, now Prabhupada has said that you should not take a tea and coffee. Then I said, I must follow that, because Prabhupada is saying. And when I started following, that actually inspired and motivated me. And then 10 to 5 to 4 to 3 to 1 to small cup, and one fine day I stopped. And one fine day I stopped that, and I went to Chennai. And then Chennai, there is a hotel called as Hotel Sarvana Bhuvan. If you would have seen that. And the Sarvana, because before that I was going to Chennai, and that Sarvana Bhuvan chai was like, is a nectar for me. So I would walk 1 kilometer to get that tea, and then the sky is the limit. You will enjoy that. Then I went for my visa, the visa stamping, and I came to across the Sarvana Bhuvan. And now there is a Dharma Sankata. My favorite chai and Srila Prabhupada instruction. I was in a deep contemplation. Prabhupada instruction chai, Prabhupada instruction chai, Prabhupada instruction and chai. And finally, I actually became a prey, and I had a 1 cup of tea there. After that, I became so upset for a smaller tea. Couldn't we actually follow Srila Prabhupada's instruction? Srila Prabhupada in earlier days, Srila Prabhupada, when devotees were painting Jagannath Ji, and one devotees were actually having smoking, he was smoking, and Srila Prabhupada came on the spot. And this Prabhu did not have opportunity to keep the cigarette outside so that he is ready and not being caught red-handed by smoking cigarette. And Srila Prabhupada did not say anything. He said that, do you want cigarette between you and Krishna? And I was thinking, this tea, for the small cup of tea, actually I disobeyed the instruction of Srila Prabhupada. And I was very disturbed. And then time passed, and 28th of January 2006, I stopped taking tea. And today, almost now 17 years, I think 17 years, I stopped by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. So I'm giving this example that if we follow Srila Prabhupada's instruction, had I not written, I had not heard Srila Prabhupada books or read Srila Prabhupada books, I don't think that today I would be here. So today, wherever I'm it's because of Srila Prabhupada's mercy and Srila Prabhupada's blessing. So if we have to do something, and especially which really motivates me and inspires is Srila Prabhupada's books, Srila Prabhupada's instruction. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Let's all thank His Grace for us. We can arrange Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare. We request you to show and bless us so that we can stay here committed. Only a lover of Prabhupada can bless others to become lover of Prabhupada. You have that love, you can give it to us. So please bless us so that we really start loving Prabhupada by following the instructions. Thank you very much. We will now move towards worshipping Prabhupada. We will do Guru there. But before that, I would like to facilitate the newcomers. Any newcomers today coming for the first time? First time to the center. Okay, they're not doing good outreach. We will worship the Prabhupada now. Requesting everyone to go to worship the Prabhupada. After that, we will have the transcendental